You there! Stop! You'll go down like a sack of potatoes!
This review is brought to you by Full Sail University. Today I review Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which has pretty much been my life for the past 2 weeks. I had the chance to play through this first on the PlayStation 4 and then again on the Xbox 360, so I've spent a lot of time with the game, I have a lot of thoughts on it, here they are. If you've ever had dreams of being a pirate, sailing the open ocean, hijacking royal convoys, and plundering booty, then congratulations, Assassin's Creed 4 was made for you. This is a game that's bound to ruffle some feathers simply due to the liberties it takes with this series, but whatever angle you approach it from, it still has plenty of things to be excited about. Though it is a continuation of the series, Black Flag focuses on a new hero, Captain Edward Kenway, a rural farm boy with grandiose aspirations of becoming a privateer and sailing the West Indies. He leaves his wife and family in England at the turn of the 18th century and sets sail for the Caribbean, soon finding himself sucked into the pirate lifestyle with the promise of fame and riches.
Your life seems a grand one, if I may say. So full of adventure. How marvelous.
Of course, the entire story still takes place within the Animus, in the offices of Abstergo Entertainment, a subsidiary of Abstergo that specializes in immersive virtual reality experiences. Here you play a nameless, faceless employee who's been hired to sift through Desmond Miles' genetic memories to examine the life of Edward Kenway. It's both the clever and a strangely meta subplot that ties the game in with the franchise and creates an infinite canvas for future Assassin's Creed games. But those of you who find the transition to modern day jarring, as it often can be, will be happy to know that these scenes comprise a far smaller and less vital portion of the overall game than they have in previous installments. Most of your time in Assassin's Creed 4 will be spent as the pirate Edward Kenway, traversing land and sea and killing everything along the way. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the most interesting part of the 20-plus hour storyline is its cast of supporting characters, including real-life pirates like Blackbeard and Charles Vane. Despite some rather colorful characters, though, the narrative itself is far from perfect. Certain storylines are introduced and developed over the course of several hours, only to be dismissed suddenly in 2 sentences. Likewise, most of the pivotal points in the game, which revolve around assassinating key figures, feel increasingly repetitive the longer you play. One notable improvement from Assassin's Creed 3 is the pacing, which does not require a ton of setup before you get to jump into the action. Soon after arriving in Havana, about an hour or so into the game, you're presented with a massive array of side activities, including assassin contracts, Templar missions, tons of collectibles like loot chests, ancient Mayan relics, and treasure maps pointing to even larger stashes of coin. On top of that, the Caribbean islands allow for a vast amount of ocean exploration, making up about half of the game depending on how you prefer to play. If land missions aren't your thing, there's a host of water-related activities to engage in, from harpooning to cave diving to good old-fashioned ship-to-ship combat. But the true brilliance of the game comes from simply exploring. Peering through your telescope to see a ship slowly materializing in the distance is both exciting and ominous. The wonderful art direction populates the scenery with beautiful sunsets, treacherous storms, and some of the most realistic water physics you will ever see.
And we'd not last long face to face with her.
Naval battles, which were first introduced in AC3, are front and center here, and the easiest way to earn quick resources. These materials can be sold for money or funneled back into your ship through an extensive customization system with far more options than were present previously. You also have the option to board almost every enemy ship now and take down its crew, earning twice as many resources as you would by simply destroying it. This is one aspect of the game, however, where their novelty soon wears off, and after a while the shipboarding becomes so repetitive that it's more of a chore than an adventure. These sequences also contain some of the worst graphical glitches, none of which negatively affected my experience, but were occasionally annoying. It's also worth noting that although boarding ships is technically optional, aside from the odd mission that requires it, the materials needed to upgrade your ship can only be earned from destroying enemy ships, so it's something you'll likely be doing a lot of. Also scattered around the map are naval forts, which can be destroyed, infiltrated, and taken over at will. This is one area of the game that's clearly inspired by Far Cry 3, where naval forts act as the game's outposts, exposing new areas of the map when defeated. These usually provide a bit more of a challenge than the ship battles simply due to their size and the fact that they're often surrounded by other enemy ships. As open as the world is, most of the new activities that are included, like harpooning and cave diving and underwater exploration, can only be accessed through specific locations on the map. About halfway through the game, Kenway acquires a diving bell which he can use to explore old shipwrecks for sunken treasure. These sequences can be a little conflicting. On the one hand, they provide some excruciatingly tense moments thanks to the horde of underwater threats that are deadlier and more terrifying than any land roaming enemies. But I still found myself avoiding them because of the poor underwater controls that make it difficult to maneuver and add too much needless frustration. Similar issues I experienced with the harpooning, which is an inherently fun activity whose enjoyment is somewhat diminished by predictable AI patterns that seem to suck a lot of the challenge out of the experience. This is illustrative of my biggest issue with the game, which is the general sense of repetitiveness. Even with the astounding amount of things to do, it's hard to dwell on any one activity for too long without feeling like you're doing the same thing over and over again. Nowhere is this more evident than sequences that require you to watch the same repeating cutscene after every takedown or victory. I don't need a cutscene to tell me that my ship is being repaired. You can just repair it, and I'll believe you. In addition to the single-player experience, Assassin's Creed 4 contains a robust multiplayer component with both competitive and cooperative modes. These range from more basic ones, requiring you to kill targets, capture enemy territories, and steal artifacts, to more involved ones like Discovery, a 4-player Wolfpack mode that boasts an entirely separate storyline with its own unique AI challenges. There's also an entirely new feature called Game Lab, which allows users to create their own multiplayer modes with over 200 different customizable elements, which can then be shared with friends or uploaded to the community. As someone who typically shies away from multiplayer in games, I had a surprisingly good time playing through the different modes here. There's enough variety that anybody should be able to find something they like, and if they don't, they now have the means to create it. My only gripe, which isn't so much a gripe as it is a wanton desire, would be a multiplayer mode that takes advantage of the naval combat, although I imagine there are probably technical limitations there that prevented that from being included. Even so, Assassin's Creed 4 is a full experience and one I was truly pleasantly surprised by. Of all the Assassin's Creed games, it's both the most different and the most ambitious. And while it may not succeed in every attempt it makes, when it does so marvelously. If this is the direction the series is going in, then Ubisoft, you have my attention.
All hands aft, lads. We're taking this one home.
Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag gets a 4 out of 5. Sure, you love to play video games, but have you ever thought about creating them? Whether you're interested in programming, art and animation, story creation, or even producing games, there is a game degree program at Full Sail University to fit your needs. Full Sail's campus is equipped with professional level game studios and labs, but if you're looking for an online degree, they have those too, so you can earn your degree from anywhere in the world. Just visit fullsail.edu/rev3games to learn more. So that is my review of Assassin's Creed 4, which I clearly had a really good time with. Like I said, I played through this on both PS4 and Xbox 360. Almost all of the footage in this review is from the PS4 version. We're also going to have another video up at the same time as this one, which offers a comparison of current gen with next gen. So if you are wondering which platform to buy it on or if you should wait until next gen, then make sure you watch that video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.